What a wild week ahead. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. Today's January 25th, 8:02 p.m. here in Arizona, and we are live. One of the things that I quickly want to talk about is there's just so much news that is going on. I want to give it a few seconds before we just start getting into it. But the first thing that I want to cover is that this week, there are a few companies that you might have heard of: Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, Apple, big tech, reporting earnings this week. So I just want to make sure that you are aware. So if you're invested in any of these companies, you're just prepared. Doesn't mean that you need to sell. Just means that, okay, I'm aware that they're about to report. If you're over leveraged, you do something about it now. If you're too light in your position and you want to have a larger position, then you do something about it now. Again, I'm going to be making a series of videos before, especially on Wednesday and Thursday, before a lot of these companies report earnings, just so we talk about the market's expectation. Also, airlines is a big focus for me this week because just like we talked about it when it came down to the video this Saturday, I view the airline industry to be a little bit on the overbought side. Just my opinion, but overbought reversal forming based off previous patterns. We have American Airlines, we have Southwest with a nice little gap up. If these airlines report guidance that is lower than what is expected, then we can expect a drop. And again, a lot of these companies are set to report earnings either early this week or mid to late this week. So again, definitely a sector that I'm paying very close attention to. A very popular sector, especially right now during the overnight hours, is gold and silver. Gold saw a huge gap up. This is a gold-based ETF, up 1.9%. And silver took a huge gap up, silver up 6%. So again, a lot of these precious metals are seeing big gap ups, which of course build in a lot of momentum, especially as markets have recently pulled on back. It seems like a lot of these stocks or these commodities are pushing up when uncertainty begins to present itself for NASDAQ, which is kind of unique because it's gold that normally pushes up, not precious metals like silver or copper, because they're more utility-based precious metals. So a little different, a little odd, but nonetheless, that's how the market's reacting. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we talked about it, because if you're invested in any of these sectors, I think it's important to be aware. On top of that, obviously, a lot of you guys are aware of just all of the news that's going on right now. The risk of another government shutdown, right? If supposedly the Democrats are presenting the idea that if any funding for ICE or DHS is presented, they will not continue funding for our government. So especially with what's happened recently in Minnesota, it seems that they're likely to hold ground pretty firm. So I would not be surprised. I think the last time I checked, and again, they're just probabilities, just like data, I guess, based off of odds, but about an 80% probability that the government shutdown is likely to happen. And I want to remind you that when government shutdowns happen, it injects uncertainty into the market. And that's probably the main reason that markets gap down. Very similar to what we saw in the last government shutdown, where markets sold off originally, and then markets are so strong that by the times the markets closed the following day, they actually made a full recovery. So we'll see if that's the same story tomorrow. Again, excited to follow up, right? The threat of a 100% tariff on Canada, and then President Trump actively looking to acquire Greenland, the issues that's going on with Iran, the DOJ investigation with the head Fed chair, Jerome Powell, and then obviously these two are not as important in my opinion. The big focus that I want to have that we don't stray away from is earning reports, but I can't believe we didn't even talk about it. Do you guys know what is this week? What's happening this week? What's happening on Wednesday? You guys aware? With all the chaos and all the news that's going on, what's happening this Wednesday, right around 2 p.m.? Fed meeting, FOMC rate decision. That is correct. So again, that to me, as an overall catalyst, is probably going to be a very big focus for this week. So again, a lot of different reports when it comes down to earning reports, a lot of different news that is being injected into the market that might present uncertainty. But then on top of that, as you guys could see, Wednesday, January 28th at 2 p.m. Eastern time, there's going to be a rate decision, and then there's going to be a press conference 30 minutes after. So I will be live streaming most likely this FOMC rate decision. And again, all I literally ask you to do is to drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I'll do my part in keeping you up to date. So as you could clearly see, there's a lot of different news that is set to be announced, and I'll do my part in doing daily updates on our channel and keeping you most up to date. Okay. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Feel free to share your favorite stock that you would like me to break down. That's a big focus this week. Don't just throw a random stock that has nothing to do with what's going on this week. Please make sure that it has some form of relevance to what's going on this week. Is it about to report earnings? Is it a stock that has recently gapped up or gapped down? So again, feel free to share your top stock. All right, I see UNH. Would be more than happy to break down. United Healthcare Group is set to report earnings on Tuesday before the market opens. I've talked about it before. I'm lightly invested into UNH as a long-term position. I have no intention of selling anytime soon. It has recently gapped up, but again, it doesn't change anything for me. I wouldn't buy any more at these levels, and even if it ends up selling off, I have no intention of selling anytime soon. Right now, it looks like it's trading within the range of 375 to a common support of right around 300. We'll see based off of market expectation and what it actually reports. I think the big focus is going to be guidance. So does guidance look good for 2026, or what's the outlook, right? The big concern right now, and the reason that we saw a slight retracement with a lot of these healthcare companies, is because of Trump and Trump wanting to make healthcare more affordable. That's obviously going to eat into the margins of companies like UNH. So although it might be great for the general public, might obviously not be the most ideal for companies like United Healthcare. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that, something to take into consideration, which is why I have a position size at a pretty decent price that's sub $300 per share. I feel comfortable with it. If it pulls back, I'm not stressing. I have no intention of selling anytime soon. Do I think that UNH is going to be a parabolic trade like that has huge momentum and that's going to make you rich right off the bat? No. It's relatively a very slow moving stock, and it hasn't made progress beyond 375. I have no intention of this thing recovering anytime soon because there are a lot of concerns that are still presenting itself when it comes down to this company. So do I think that it's going to be a good trade this week? No, not necessarily. But if it reports earnings and for whatever reason it sells off, again, I would love to follow up with it and revisit the idea of, hey, do I want to invest more, or do I even want to potentially close the position? If it begins to gap up, then that's kind of where I want to see where is the guidance for this company for 2026. That's what I want to follow up with. So, all right. Okay. What else? We got, let's do some stocks that we haven't broken down in some time. Okay. Chevron. Okay. CVX recently with a big gap up. It's up another 1.1%. Do I think that this is a good deal? No. Obviously, it has good momentum, higher highs, higher lows. I think that all has to do with recent trading volume. It's not something that I would personally care for myself. I don't view it as a good deal. I view it more on the overbought side. I also wouldn't care to short it because obviously direction is in favor of the bulls right now. But it's just not a good deal. So Chevron is expected to report earnings, and it looks like it's about to report on the 30th. So is that towards the end of this week? The end of this week on Friday. So I can see why you're paying attention to it, but even if it does skyrocket, the risk to reward on this just isn't worth it for me. If it is for you, I want to respect that, right? Just like we've said it so many times before, it looks like some people are sometimes get offended when I talk about like MSTR or Bitcoin. It's just my opinion. I don't believe in it. I don't think it has any actual value. And I think there's a reason that MSTR has gone from like $500 per share down to $100 per share, right? 150 or whatever it's at right now. We've made so much money shorting MSTR. Our LPP team has been killing it, and we've only had one focus, and we've only had to have one focus with MSTR. But risk to reward ratios were in our favor, right? With this, it's a little bit different. It's okay, yeah, there's downside potential, but direction is still in favor of the bulls. And even if this thing does end up gapping up, I think that's great for those that are invested. I still don't think it's worth the risk for myself to buy now at the expense of this thing potentially retracing 10% for it to gap up 1%. Like, what am I going for? A 1-for-1 ratio? It's just not lucrative enough. It's not, it's not something that I personally care for. So for me, I would say, no, it's not going to be a stock that I'm going to be paying attention to. But if it meets your criteria and you know something that you think I should be aware of, share it with me on Instagram. You guys can follow me on Instagram. It's the third link in the description down below. Or if you're part of my LPP team, send me a direct message via Discord. And I would love to learn more on why you're so interested in this stock. It's not that I'm going to agree with you right off the bat, but again, I'm always open to learning more about these actual businesses and companies that might have a competitive edge, not companies like MSTR that have a failing business, right? All right. What's next? Again, if you want me to break down your top stock, all I ask you to do is drop a thumbs up and share your tops. You have to be subscribed to partake in that live chat. So feel free to share your thoughts. Take a look at PayPal. The stock could be a good turnaround. That's what was said last time when it reported earnings prior to it. I feel like that's the story that's been told time and time again. Is it just me? Can we pause for a second? This is the third stock that we're breaking down. Can you guys blame me for not wanting to buy the dip on this stock that keeps on dipping? I mean, all of 2025, the thing that I think about is during one of the most bullish years for tech, PayPal is still selling off. And trust me, when I look into PayPal, I see the value to some degree fundamentally. If you look at it, I mean, there's huge potential upside. I typed it into Investing Pro. It tells me the PE ratio is incredibly low. Revenue is increasing. So if we pull up the Pro research, we can see, revenue has, again, fundamentally, I like PayPal. Technically speaking, the question that I begin to have with myself is, if this company, if the stock price is falling during one of the most bullish years, which was 2025, what if we do enter a recession? And what if we do enter a downturn? What's going to happen with PayPal then? So if it's already falling apart, as the stock price during a great sentiment for the market, can you blame me for not wanting to be, not being interested in investing in it? Because now overall markets are like overbought, right? And if we do begin to pull back, then PayPal is only probably expected to go down further. Trust me, it's a stock that's in my watch list. Yeah, it's in my oversold watch list. I would love to be invested into PayPal if price action supported it. I like the way that it looks fundamentally. I just cannot, do it to myself to put money in something with such a terrible trend. But if you're okay with possibly being early and you can tolerate the time that it might take for it to recover because you're incredibly bullish on PayPal, I want to learn why. So feel free to message me, share your details on why you're so bullish on PayPal and why it's bound to recover in 2026, but it didn't in 2025. That's what I would like to learn more about. So, but yes, I do agree with you. Fundamentally, I like PayPal. Technically, I don't. Okay? And again, if you guys want to download Investing Pro, it's the first link in the description down below. Let's go ahead and do 2 more stocks. If you guys want me to break down your stock, I appreciate you taking time and tuning on in. All I'm literally asking you to do is drop a thumbs up on this video and share your thoughts in that live chat. Okay. All right. You asked for Meta. I like that you're talking about Meta because Meta is set to report earnings this week, right? Meta reports earnings after the market closes on Wednesday. So obviously buying or trading anything as it's about to report earnings is going to be incredibly volatile. The part that I find to be interesting is that in just a few days, it went from its support of 600 and it ripped up to its previous resistance of 670. 670 was a previous resistance range. Remember, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. But knowing that, now I know that there's some retracement potential back to lows of 602 or 600, especially if earnings are not met. Do you remember what happened last time, right? We could experience another leg down. And when looking at the day chart, again, we have a long way to go. So I'm not convinced that Meta has to recover just yet. I like Meta. I like, do I think it's super cheap? No. If we pull up Meta, and this is with what it's doing, even with its accounting. P ratio is not terrible, 28.4 times its earnings. It's actually not that bad. But that's with, again, how they're depreciating their expenses over a much larger period than what was previously, done. So, yeah, I can definitely see why you're paying attention to it. And if you're someone that's always more bullish than bearish, yes, I see what's attractive about it. It has previous highs of nearly $800 per share. It had a nice rip up. Can it continue that same momentum because it's going to blow earnings out of the water and guidance is going to be great? Then yeah, I can see the bull case, 20% of potential upside. But you know that I'm a little bit optimistic, not a little bit, I'm always pretty optimistic on the downside. So because of that, it just wouldn't meet my criteria, but don't allow my opinions to cloud your way of thinking. If you're bullish on something and you have your reasoning why, just make sure that you understand your risk and put your money where your mouth is, right? And hopefully you do your part in managing and mitigating risk if it ends up turning up against you. But that's my thing, is I think that if markets do experience a downturn, companies like Meta have recently experienced a huge uptick that they're bound to retrace quite a bit. So that's the part that I'm not concerned of or concerned about, but something that I would be cautious of. So I appreciate you suggesting this one, and it's definitely going to be a big focus for our team this week. Yeah, about 10% of potential upside. All right. Oh, this is actually one that I'm glad that you brought it up. I can't believe. So does Tesla look bullish? Do you guys know what Tesla is about to do this time that it hasn't or didn't before? I can film a whole video about Tesla. So first off, technically speaking, Tesla is an incredibly bullish stock. It's had an amazing run from lows of 200 to highs of 500. In my opinion, and that's just that, it's my opinion. I'm a person that you've never met. So again, just take it as that. I think it's overvalued fundamentally. I think that Tesla has a lot of momentum because of what Elon Musk is currently doing. Again, I do believe that Elon Musk is one of the greatest minds of our generation. And if there's anyone that can, grow a company to this insane valuation with terrible earnings, it's Elon, right? The part that I would be concerned about is that, let's type it in very quickly. Let me make sure the numbers are still correct. Yep, 294 times its earnings. If you look at the revenue, we've flatlined. Do you know what Tesla's about to do? It's about to report earnings. And to my understanding, this will be the first quarter where Tesla no longer has government EV credit or subsidies. So now we will see how Tesla's demand is, and on top of that, how Tesla's net profit is without, being subsidized by the government. I made this video last quarter. I talked about Tesla after it reported Q3 earnings, and I said, hey, this is the last time Tesla is going to be able to collect, EV credits and subsidies from our government, and also to incentivize buyers. And that was this revenue, this quarter. And as you can see, Tesla's revenue has not been growing for the past few quarters since 2023. This is just my opinion. That's all it is. I'm not here to convince you. Again, your investments, don't influence me. I'm just having a conversation with you. When I look at this data and I ask myself, wow, this revenue is not growing any longer. Tesla is no longer growing at the rate it once was. Remember, projected value is often justified when companies that are relatively on the newer side are showing signs of rapid growth. But now we have an established company that has plateaued revenue and is now about to lose 20 to 30% of its revenue from its previous quarters. And that's because it was subsidized by the government. So this week, we will see how Tesla as a company standalone without being subsidized, how they did on net revenue. And that's the part that I'm really excited to learn more about. Because again, if I see that, oh wow, like it made more in revenue even without government subsidies, I think I really need to dig deeper and begin to understand why. Because then maybe they are doing something that I don't understand and that I overlooked. And I'm okay with that, right? But if we do see a drop in revenue, how will Wall Street react? And knowing that consumers are not spending or not projected to spend as much this year than maybe they were last year, how does guidance look for 2026? Will Elon Musk kind of throw the curveball about the Optimus robot and full autonomy vehicles? We'll see, to try to rally up investors. He might need to. If anyone can sell the dream, it's definitely Elon. But remember, we've been talking about Optimus robots for 5 to 7 years. And we've been talking about autonomy, full autonomy vehicles and full robo-taxis for nearly 10 years. How long can he continue to rally investors with the same story? That's something that I'm excited to learn more about. Again, it's not about being right or wrong. Like I'm wrong all the time. I'm okay with that. Like my thing is I want to learn more on why it's still sustaining itself at these elevated levels. Like what do investors need to see to then acknowledge, oh wow, this company isn't growing any longer? Like what will scare Tesla investors? Will anything? That's also another question, right? So hey Ricky, is Tesla worth trading, or is it out of play because of IV increase from? I don't trade options, right? So that's not going to be something that I'm going to be able to assist you with. But one thing on the 4 hour is you have to ask yourself, based off of recent trading kind of range from the highs to the lows, especially recently, common resistance right around 450, common support right around 420. We're bound to either break above and try to gap up after it reports earnings, or maybe we will retrace back to previous lows of 420 leading up to its earning report, and then it will determine if it gaps up or breaks that support and continues to gap down to lows of 380. So it definitely trades within range. A question to ask yourself is the range enough, and is it worth the risk? 5 to 6% of potential profit to maybe risk 1 or 2% of potential loss. If you know how to manage and mitigate risk, then yeah, I could see how Tesla can be a stock worth trading. Do I think that it's a super safe stock to trade, regardless of what I think, right before it reports earnings? Of course not. Not even just earnings, but we have the FOMC rate decision this Wednesday. We have all just the news that's coming out of, with the government shutdown, with what's going on in Minnesota, with Greenland, with the DOJ investigation, with Jerome Powell, a handful of different things that can obviously just cause shifts and divide in the market. So yeah, there's sometimes that there's weeks that there is nothing going on. We have a pretty stacked week this week. I'm excited because there's going to be a lot to talk about. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a super great trading week, especially not for beginners. A lot of volatility means it possible, a lot of quick changes of direction. That's not ideal for beginners because you have to be quick. You need to know how to get in and out, and it comes at a greater form of risk. So again, simple things. I want to remind you, if you're watching this and you're going to be trading for maybe the first time, don't be afraid to be selective. Don't be afraid to stay cash. And please, if you know that there's greater risk this week due to volatility, don't be leveraged. That's the biggest thing. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to see eye to eye with me with anything. But the biggest thing, especially during very volatile times, please don't over leverage yourself and borrow money to trade something that can turn against you so quick during a very volatile time. So I wish you guys nothing but the best. If I didn't get to your stock, but you would like to hear my 2 cents on it, you could either message me via Discord or send me a direct message via Instagram, and maybe I could break it down on my next video. So I appreciate you guys' time. Again, all the links are in the description down below. If you want to watch me trade live starting tomorrow, we have a handful of you guys that joined over the weekend. And again, I'm excited to kick off the trading week with all of you. It's the second link in the description down below, and that will get you $300 off LPP 3.0. And yes, it's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and you'll get access to the A to Z video lesson library, the daily live trading session, and the LPP group chat. I appreciate you guys' time. I hope that earned a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. So do I have Discord? It's only for our LPP members. So again, you can message me on Instagram if you have any questions, or you can just comment here on YouTube. I have over 5,000 free videos on YouTube. But if you're someone that wants to watch me trade live and work with us closer, then the only service that I offer is LPP. And if you want to learn more about it to see if it's a good fit for you, it's the second link in the description down below. So again, just click it, review it, and if it's a good fit for you, I'll see you tomorrow at Market Open. Take care, guys.